All right, well, Paul, you got a nice little 2-fight winning streak going. How does it feel right now to be kind of, on the right side of things again?
Yeah, it feels really good, man. I had a couple tough losses, so to get 2 in a row and be looking for my third is it's huge in the UFC, especially in the lightweight division. If I can string together 3 or 4 wins, man, you're looking at potentially top 10 guys and maybe even higher. Who knows on who I beat along the way? But right now I got Francisco Trinaldo, and just looking to keep the ball rolling right now.
You mentioned those couple of losses. I mean, what was it like during that? Did you get kind of down on yourself a little bit? Were you doubting yourself a little bit? What was it like?
Yeah, I was. And I think I made a mistake. I lost to Edson. It was a close fight. The dude was number like 7 at the time, and instead of just taking some time off, thinking some things through, I rushed in, got that fight with Pearson, and took another loss. And there's a picture out there that the UFC took, man, where I'm just slumped against the cage, and that pretty much sums up how I felt for a little bit there. I just needed to get my head right. So I took a few months of training, but just making sure that the next step was going to be the right step for my career. I switched some things around training-wise, started sparring with different people and different coaches, and I feel like I've got my formula put together now for success.
Training with Edson, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. So that was one of the things, and that didn't start until actually after the Cruikshank fight. But Mark Henry and those guys had been asking me and Jonathan Webb, who I trained with a bunch of times, to come up here. They're like, you guys are flying across the country to New Mexico, and we're right in Robbinsville, Brick, New Jersey. So it's what are you guys doing? So I finally, after the Darren fight, I was like, okay, I still need more. You know what I mean? And working with Nick Catone now. Mark Henry's always there too, kind of just, he can't help himself but coach you.
Right.
If you've met Mark. It doesn't matter if you're a stranger off the street hitting the bag, he'd be like, listen, you're doing that wrong. So yeah, getting with those guys is really, I really feel it's upped my game and my movement, and sparring has been fantastic.
Awesome. So you get the call, as you said, to fight Francisco Trinaldo. You got to come down here to Brazil to do it. It's a lot of travel.
Yeah.
It's the guy's hometown, so to speak. What was your initial reaction? Was there any consideration, or were you like, I'm in?
Well, it kind of backfired because we were looking for a guy in the top 15, and he was 15 at the time when I booked this fight.
Right.
I was like, all right, that's perfect. This guy's on a huge winning streak. If I can go and beat this guy, it puts me right in the mix. So we asked for the fight.
Right.
And then Joe's like, yeah, perfect, in Brazil. And we're like, come on, man. And at first we were waiting, and finally I was talking to my manager and some of my coaches, and I said, sometimes you just gotta suck it up, man. And if we're not gonna go through some adversity, what's the point of doing all this? I mean, the point of being in this career is doing this crazy stuff that nobody gets to do. Why not fly down to Brazil? And it just gives me that much more credit if I come in here and get a win in his hometown. So I finally just said, you know what, let's do it.
Stylistically, it would seem to be kind of a tough fight for you too. I mean, he's kind of more of a grinder, challenging type guy, where I think you'd probably prefer to stand and bang a little bit. So
Yeah.
does that concern you a little bit? Has that been a big focus of yours?
Yeah, that's exactly what we've been working in the game plan stuff is, just how to deal with somebody either pressuring you or going away, which is kind of what he does a lot. He's either trying to smash you or he's moving and setting it up. So, a lot of the training was staying on that outside and hurting him when I can. And I don't mind. I don't know if you watch my fights. I don't mind being in the clinch up against the fence. That's where I hurt Berkman with that elbow, and I was landing a lot of knees to a lot of different opponents in the clinch. So, and he tends to fade. I'm not saying he's going to. Who knows what his training camp was like. But that's where guys are going to fade if they're going to fade. So if he wants to clinch and wear his arms out a little bit, then I welcome it.
Have you been doing any blindfolded sparring and getting ready for this?
Listen, everybody's different. Everybody has different training methods. Not one of mine. I like to see my opponent. I read what they said, that it was to help so that he could hear his corner. Man, me and him aren't going to be able to hear anything in that arena come Saturday night. So no, we haven't done any blindfold sparring, but we were joking about coming to the weigh-ins and
Putting the
blindfold on and not being able to find him like Bloodsport style, you know what I mean, where he's looking around. But that's just not me. I'm not a guy that taunts my opponents or anything like that. But Eddie Alvarez really wanted me to do that bad.
I'm voting.
I think he fought one of his coaches back in the day.
Really?
As well, yeah.
Well, I consider it another vote in that direction for me too. I think
You would like it, huh?
I think
Oh man, you know, I probably should. It would give me a lot of freaking attention. God, I will say we can find a blindfold.
we got time. Well, something you did get a lot of attention for, the GoFundMe campaign. I wanted to ask you about that and kind of let you address it, because it's I don't know. I guess I understood where you were coming from, but it also seemed like it got you more like slack and negative attention.
Holy crap, man! Never in a million years did I think that starting that thing was going to get some. I got some good feedback, and I got some people that were willing to donate. But then I got so many people, calling me like a scumbag, calling me, you made all this money. I mean, these guys are looking at what I made and not realizing I have a baby, I have, a girlfriend that stays home with the baby, I have, taxes. We pay taxes on this stuff. I don't know if people realize that, but we're regular human beings who, well, some of us pay taxes. Other people get in trouble for not paying taxes. But I paid my taxes, and I paid a lot of taxes. And people are like, you bonused. And I'm like, yeah, and a lot of that goes to the government. Then, believe it or not, the 3 guys that follow me around to different countries all over the world, I have to pay those guys.
Right.
So I didn't mean for it to start that. We took it down like a week or so into it, and I just didn't want that kind of negativity. I've seen guys start GoFundMes for a trip across the country because they couldn't make their friend's wedding. So when we talked about it with my manager, it was like well, let's see what we can get. Yeah. Just to help the flights.
Well, in some ways, I think it's like a way for a fan to support a fighter if they want. You know what I mean?
And listen, the plan was originally too, if I made more than what I needed to, or what I was going to donate to a charity, I was going to try to put something towards pancreatic cancer for my dad's got cancer, so we were going to do something cool. And if I still bonused what I made, I'll give back too, for sure.
Very cool.
So, people, man,
Put
people
that
love to hate. Man.
Won't do that one again.
People love to hate.
Well, moving past that, obviously a big fight for you. Like I said, this is somebody that is on a nice win streak. This would be, maybe not a signature win, but certainly a big win for you.
Yeah.
When you play this thing out in your head, I mean, how do you see it going down?
Man, last night was the first night that I've been pretty calm and relaxed about this fight, but last night was the first night things were just going through my mind over. I kept waking up and, you're doing the twitches in the middle of my sleep, and it could go anywhere. I see us getting busted up, I see myself getting hit just because he's a brawler. But I think if I can keep my game plan intact, I'm sharper, and I think I'm going to be able to cut him off and hurt him where I need to, and make him break in front of his town. All that pressure, his adrenaline's going to be through the roof. And I just got to take it all in and stay cool as a cucumber and try to pick him apart from everywhere we go. So I see it going a lot of different ways, but I'm not one for predictions. I'm just hoping me and him get an extra check at the end of the night.